Welcome to Devotion to Christ, Anglican Spirituality, a tradition for today. I am one of your hosts, Dr. Matthew Hoskin, Professor of Christian History at Davenant Hall. I have hijacked this podcast without my brother present in an act of shameless self-promotion. I am here to promote my upcoming course at Davenant Hall, Constantine and the Conversion of the Roman Empire. Now, you may be saying, wait, I don't want to listen to anything about ancient Romans. I am here for Anglican spirituality. What does Constantine have to do with Anglicanism? And I would say much, in many ways, not in every way, but much. I mean, most famously, of course, our schism with the Church of Rome began because of Henry VIII and his desire for a divorce, right? That's what everyone, anywhere you go, is going to say, oh, Anglicans, this is where you came from. So, think about what is the relationship between monarchs and the church, between secular and sacred power. What kind of authority does a Christian monarch actually hold? Think about that, and then consider the fact that this year we actually did in fact witness a Christian coronation of the king. Right? On the 6th of May, we had the opportunity to witness King Charles III's coronation. This was the first coronation in 70 years. And there we saw a vision of temporal, earthly power in its relationship to God and Christianity. As the king, he was presented with a Bible at one point, and he promised to uphold the Protestant Reformed Church of England at another. And he was anointed with oil and crowned by the Archbishop of Canterbury. And then, part of the regalia was an orb surmounted by the cross, itself a symbol that the ruler and power over the world is actually Jesus of Nazareth, not King Charles. Furthermore, we all got to hear the magnificent, beautiful piece of music by Handel, Zadok the priest, during the anointing. Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet. You know, big, grand, humongous. Well, that, you could say at a certain level, you can thank Constantine for the coronation. And it's important, as we are looking there, what is the relationship? Constitutional monarch, very different world from Henry VIII. What is his relationship with religion and politics and the temporal sphere? And right now, in the midst of that, the transition, the very inevitably peaceful transition from one constitutional monarch to another, we have other things going on, very frequently south of the Canadian border. People largely on the internet, but I do know there are some books, and now there's even a movie about these guys talking about something called Christian nationalism, and whatever that is, it involves Christians holding some form of political power and framing laws relative to Christian morality. And however you feel about that term, and however many Anglicans are in on such projects, I don't really know how many, and whatever on earth the term means, depending who's using it is what it seems to me, the question of Christians and political power is a question that will never go away. And so whether you're interested in Anglican spirituality, you know, we often get patristic on this podcast, especially me, because that's actually what I do. We have to realize that in countless ways, we can consider how the politics and culture of Europe and her outposts, such as North America and Australia, have been deeply transformed by Christianity over the centuries. And in the great chain of events as we go back in time, so much of this interpenetration of Christianity into European culture and politics can be traced to Constantine, who ruled the Roman Empire, or parts of it, gradually more and more until he got the whole thing, from 306 to 337. And from at least 312, if not 310, Constantine was pursuing policies that would not only favor Christianity, but set the stage for the Christianization of the Roman Empire. From 312, he was himself publicly a Christian. He had Christian advisors, chose a Christian tutor for his son, gave all sorts of favors to the administration of the Christian church, and banned public sacrifice at pagan temples. In my course with Davenant Hall, registration for which ends on Friday, which is 2 days from recording, we are going to spend 7 weeks exploring the life and policies of Constantine, with a topical lecture from me and a discussion of the primary sources. We'll look at Eusebius' life of Constantine, Lactantius on the deaths of the persecutors, panegyrics praising the emperor, letters from the emperor, laws by the emperor, a speech of his called The Oration to the Saints, as well as some dissent from the other side, plus a bit of art and coinage. You know an ancient historian loves a good coin. What did Constantine's legacy look like? How did the rest of the 4th century play out? The final weeks of the course will look at his sons, especially Constantius II, and then the Emperor Julian, who was the last pagan emperor. He revived paganism. And finally closing with Theodosius I. We'll look at these emperors and their religious policy through their laws, through the writings of Julian and the pagan orator Libanius, more panegyric, and the works of Athanasius against Constantius, and then Ambrose of Milan on 2 counts. The dispute over the altar of victory in the Senate House, and then his speech on the death of Theodosius. All of this is interesting in and of itself, but it's also important. If we want to know how to help advise or even rule wisely, how to pray for our leaders in government, we need to figure out sound political theology. Here in these sources are the foundational moments of Christian history for such an endeavor. The need is real, and the time is now. Come study with me. Registration ends Friday. Thank you very much.